A winter bikepacking challenge. Our mission is simple, to head out into the hills to have a mini epic adventure.
There are 2 rules, okay? No cars and no discomfort.
How are we going to do it? With these. Don't want to get my feet wet.
Pyjamas, don't normally wear those, but you know, why not?
I'm looking forward to some badass black bean chili.
I'm so intrigued to know what happens on this. It is a Turn Orox, a cargo bike with a difference. Now, frankly, it's the answer to my prayers, but more on that later. Now, it's not that we don't like cars here at GCN, is it? We do, but what we love is having the option to leave them at home and do more on bikes.
Yeah, let's be honest, being stuck in traffic absolutely sucks, and then riding bikes is fun.
Yeah, and that's what cargo bikes mean to most people who have them, is the ability to leave your car at home more. And whilst this bike too can replace your car, the car that it's replacing is a 4x4.
Yeah, SUVs can go and do one. This is an SUV. Yep, and all the better for it.
I think this is right on the limit of what a bicycle is, and I love it for it. So including the rider, it can carry 210 kilos, either luggage or passengers. It's got a Bosch Performance CX line motor down there, powered by 2 on this by 800 watt-hour batteries to give it a range of up to 300 kilometers. Frankly, Hank, I don't think there's anything that can stop this bike.
Not unless you're riding across the country. There isn't.
Fortunately, our sights are slightly more modest on this February morning. We're in the north of England, starting in the city of Sheffield, the outdoor capital of the country, sitting as it does next to the Peak District National Park. Our ride takes us straight out of town and up into the hills, including the steepest road in the world, before heading up and over one last ridge to our camp spot in Edale. And then back, hopefully. Will we have enough juice in the batteries? We'll find out.
No car,
Sorted.
No discomfort. What's that all about?
Well, we're going to check out the rule book today, aren't we? Stuff minimalist, miserablest bike packing. This is going to be a cycling trip in comfort, dare I say it, style, Hank, as well. Even in the depths of a British winter. I mean, I paused because actually it's not that bad today, is it?
There is too much talk about suffering and hardship and going without when it comes to bike packing.
That's right. Cycle touring, it's closer to the mark, isn't it? You can take more stuff. But what about that level of comfort that you get from camping with your car?
Yeah, think about it. Thick mattress, spare food, spare clothes as well, and shoes, and then your pillow. Oh, and tables and chairs.
You brought a table and chairs?
Yeah, if you look closely behind your fat duffel bag, the one that you look like you've been on gap year circa 1980.
2 duffel bags. Yeah. The reason being, we have got, I think, close to 500 litres.
Is that right?
Of storage capacity between these 2 bikes. That's the same as like a family car. It's more than a Range Rover Sport.
Wowzers.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's the first time I've ever gone bike packing with a watermelon as well. Figured that's for you.
Yeah, thanks, mate. I've got you some wood.
Some firewood.
Some firewood. You never know when you're going to be, especially the British weather.
Go on then, see if it fits. You know it's good when you don't even have to worry about folding your clothes. Pyjamas? Don't normally wear those, but why not?
That's Melonhead.
That's Conor.
Yeah.
Electric toothbrush?
Look, I am Bear Grylls, but sometimes you just need to take the shortcuts, so firelight as it is. I'm not sure I'm going to need all of them, but I've got the space, so why not?
Oh, there's a baguette somewhere as well.
Do you want to take the kettle?
Yeah, we might as well, mate.
Got more pots and pans here than got my kitchen.
I got some as well, mate. I got a full set, yeah. I'm slightly concerned, mate. That tent looks quite small. Given the size of everything else, it looks like we've got the smallest tent on the planet.
Oh, well, we got 2 tents, just in case. I've literally got the table and chairs.
We're literally ready for anything, including hills. Come on.
A little bit rear heavy though.
I don't think I've ever set off with quite such a big grin on my face. These bikes are unbelievable. Now, we're not dissing bikepacking, of course we're not. We absolutely love it as well. But this is an incredible option where instead of having a table and chairs with you and literally almost the kitchen sink, you could have a couple of kids on the back and still have stacks of room. I'm slightly concerned Hank doesn't know how wide his bike is. He's nearly taken out a couple of parked cars with his table. Anyway, here we go.
It's just, I just don't want to get my feet wet.
Do you think Bear Grylls would have that attitude, mate? I don't want to get my feet wet. I've never heard him say that.
No, it's funny that.
Normally he's just like, oh, give me another cockroach to suck on.
Yeah, but then he stays in a hotel. Didn't hear that from me.
After, what, 2 miles of cruising through parks, we're pretty much out of the city now, aren't we?
Yeah, heading into the Peak District, but less people around here, so I feel it's going to get a little bit more rugged.
Moving on, embracing destiny, carry on, despite all my past, into tomorrow's bright and shiny days.
So winter's kicked in, hasn't it, mate?
Really has. Out of Sheffield and we're proper out in the wilderness now. Sheffield's lying behind us in the sunshine and we're in the gale.
There's been some quite steep riding up to there.
Yeah, it's got quite gnarly. It's surprising me, actually. You cold there?
Not anymore.
That looks like a hell of a jacket.
It is.
Wrapped up there, boy. So, you've got your seatbelt, mate. It's dragging on the floor.
We're properly on the moors now, just outside of Sheffield. This wind, like, I'm blooming glad I got a massive motor, mate. I don't know about you.
Oh, gosh, mate. Sitting in tour mode at the moment, and it's been climbing all the way out of Sheffield, and now literally we're on top of the moors, isn't it?
You're in tour mode, did you say?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm in off. I've had it
you're
off.
not.
Yeah, no, it's not even on, mate.
I'll be checking your battery at the end, don't you worry about that.
Oh, no, this is cool, but do you know what's coming next, mate? The world-famous Stanage Edge. What? Say what? It's quite hard riding one-handed on this stuff.
Danny McCaskill, eat your heart out!
One-handed, trials riding.
Wow!
Yes, mate, that's the view we came for. So that there is Stanage Edge, and it's basically, from there, it's just Peak District. And our campsite is gonna be over, like, next hill, basically.
It's beautiful.
It's mega, isn't it?
Yeah. Exposed, but beautiful.
Yeah.
Not a huge amount up here.
I mean, I think that's
The idea.
Yeah, basically. I think it's cool, man.
It is, isn't it? Right.
Go on,
Down the
let's do
hill.
it. Yeah.
Off you go, mate. Don't lose your pineapple, I'll be watching. Oh, shh. Jesus Christ.
lunchtime.
Oh, beautiful.
What a spot. No wonder this thing's heavy. I got 3 litres of water. No, 4 litres. 4 kilos just in water.
We need it for cooking. Have you got any avocado guac?
I do have guac, yeah.
Good.
Flapjacks, pudding. God, I suddenly realised how hungry I am. They're good tortilla chips, those, aren't they? Like, proper good. Do you know what? There's something really nice about not sitting on a floor, you know? That was a very nice lunch, actually.
Yeah, delicious. Thank you so much for buying it all.
It's my pleasure, mate.
How are the gluten-free buns?
Not bad as far as gluten-free rolls go.
Yeah.
The slight problem now, having had a massive feed, is the next bit of bicycling is the world's steepest climb.
Yeah.
Supposedly. You've done it before, haven't you?
I have, yeah.
You think you can get up it?
Yeah, no problem.
Really? You're going to have to sit a long way forward, I think.
Yeah, but I've got turbo mode. And I feel like...
You're not going to go over backwards?
No, I reckon I'll be all right. I mean, it is bloody steep. Some say Ollie Bridgewood didn't even make it up.
Well, I mean, he didn't make it up, did he?
Another one for the Oliver Bridgewood Reel of Shame.
Too many leaves, it's wet.
My rear wheel is just slipping. I can't get traction.
I've got an Ollie Bridgewood on the back of my bike. I've got 100 kilos, pretty much.
No, you haven't.
No, you have.
Well.
Oh, it's like treacle.
Whilst Hank is taking this opportunity to cut up one of his watermelons, I thought I would take a minute to talk you through this bike. As mentioned, it is a Tern. Okay, they also make the legendary GSD cargo bike. I say legendary, I bought one, and there's also stacks in my local area. It is the only, so far as I can tell, truly compact cargo bike. It's easy to store, but yet you can still fit 2 kids on the back, plus a week's worth of shopping. Now, you could easily fit 2 kids on the back of this one, and an epic amount of storage as well. But compact, it is definitely not. In fact, it's a complete departure from anything Tern have ever done before. Urban, compact, sleek is their kind of USP. But actually, I can't find anything like this on the market, full stop. So I was really intrigued to know why they've done it. So I asked. Their head of design, it turns out, lives in Finland, and he simply proposed that they make a cargo bike that can go everywhere a GSD couldn't. So away from tarmac, into dirt, into mud and snow, whatever you end up with in Finland. So no market research, no focus groups, just a bike that they wanted. And so here it is, a go anywhere, carry anything cargo bike. Now, some of the details, again, as I said, it's got a Bosch CX Performance Line motor in there. It can kick out 85 Newton meters of torque. We will see if that's enough to get us up the world's steepest climb. But then I've got these 2 big 800 watt-hour batteries in here, one of which is in this insulated frame compartment here. Hank's bike, meanwhile, only has 1 800 watt-hour battery, so he might not be able to make it back to Sheffield tomorrow, so I'll give him a tow. The reason for it is his bike is actually the lower spec model. He's got a 12-speed XT mountain bike drivetrain on there, whereas I, if you look closely, have got a Gates carbon belt drive on here linked up to a 14-speed Rollhoff hub gear. For many people, that is the ultimate low-maintenance drivetrain option. We've got a few optional extras on here as well. So I've got the clubhouse. So this is what you would have if you're carrying passengers on there as well, but also makes the perfect place to keep my duffel bag. And then that front rack as well is not standard. You can carry up to 25 kilos on that one. The last thing I'm going to draw your attention to now, before Hank eats all of his watermelon, is another part of this Bosch system here. We've got the Kiox head units on there. I know everyone worries with expensive e-bikes about theft. That has got a built-in alarm, so you can pair it up to your smartphone, and also like an immobilizer, so that the motor won't work unless you tell it to, basically, with your phone or the head unit there, which I think is a nice touch. How you getting on, mate? Nice?
Yeah, really good, actually.
Cool, man. I'll grab a chair. Hang on a sec.
Grab a chair and your pineapple, because I've done the watermelon.
Oh, we'll save the pineapple for later. But yeah, otherwise, that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
What do you fancy, big bit or small bit?
To be honest with you, I absolutely hate watermelon. Is that all right, that bit?
Yeah, that's good.
Is it? What's it doing over there?
I'm not sure.
It's not falling on the road or anything. To the world's steepest climb?
Absolutely.
I think it's that way, isn't it?
It is that way, mate, yeah. After you, my man. Feel kind of naked without the baguette. Can we, like, draw a face on your pineapple? Like Wilson in Castaway.
35%, Hank.
Yeah, some would say the world's steepest climb.
Some might say that. I'm not entirely sure they're right, but it is nevertheless pretty darn steep.
Yeah.
I'm in turbo mode, clearly.
Me
There's
too.
also a power meter on this Bosch head unit, which is it's going to be interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how much power you're going to put down, as well as your turbo motor, but we've got some weight on the back, so I worry that we're going to just end up wheeling the whole way up, but we'll find out.
The bike's 33 kilos. I reckon I got another 30-odd kilos at the back.
And a pineapple.
And well, that's probably another 4.
Yeah,
isn't it?
exactly, yeah.
Right, okay, should we do it?
Come on, Ed. Okay. Come on, Ed. Come on, Ed. Oh, Jesus.
Where are you
love the off-road.
Oh, my word. Oh, that is quite steep, isn't it, up there? Is that the road?
Yeah.
I'm only doing 250 watts. This is ridiculous.
360 watts. I think I'm nearly at the limit. I couldn't stay behind.
Wow. Apart from me and Hank embarrassingly crashing into each other in the middle of the climb,
Yeah.
I'd say we made that.
I mean, I've got to say, it's an impressive amount of weight we've got on this bike to get up there. Imagine
mate.
trying to do that without the motor, though.
Well, I literally couldn't push the bike.
No.
I had to have walk mode on.
Yeah, mad.
Right, that way.
To the campsite?
To the campsite.
Hold on.
Go for it, mate. Right up.
There you go, on top of the gear. Here we go. Woo! Off we go! Oh.
Hey!
Dropping in! Oh, he's going!
Yeah, fair play. He's done it. It's the wind, all right?
Expecting everything to fall, and that I will end up alone. The book of Daniel all over again. This has a way of hurting me. The spell on me seems to linger in ways I cannot really see. You got me wrapped around your finger. The book of Daniel over again.
Ha! Gonna switch on my massive light. I'm looking forward to some badass black bean chili.
Used to make all my doubts go away.
do you reckon, bud?
Here we are, mate. It's not flat, but I think it'll do. Then let's just stick the poles in and go from there, I reckon.
Yeah.
Get some shape on it.
This is a purple one, please.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
What did you do, man?
I'm not quite sure.
Just sit on it.
I just need some tape to go. Ah.
It's like watching a surgeon at work, isn't it?
It's that little bit too thin.
God, it really did split. Proper, didn't it? Well, it was a rough ride, wasn't it, today?
Yeah.
Not for us, but, you know, for some of the things in our panniers. I found the first casualty, look. It's, that mushroom's looking a bit sorry for itself, isn't it? It's a quality knife, that. No messing around. How's that water looking, mate? Do you reckon we've nearly got a boil on? Do you want wine lessons with Simon?
Yeah, go on, sell it to me.
Well, so my theory about wine, okay, is it's as much about what's in the bottle as what you think is in the bottle, okay? And so, you know how wine always tastes really good when you're on holiday? So, it's not because the wine's really good, it's because you're on holiday.
Yeah.
So my thing now is that if I buy wine from somewhere that I've been and had a good experience at, i.e. Mont Ventoux, it's going to taste flipping amazing no matter what. So it's like, when I drink this wine, I'm literally thinking of
Mont Ventoux.
Bicycling up Mont Ventoux and then having a really nice dinner afterwards.
Yeah.
To luxury bike camping.
Absolutely, my friend.
Hang on a minute, so it's glamping, bike glamping?
Let's call it bike glamping, we can work with that.
I think for me, mate, rather than go somewhere like Epic, which I would love to do, the thing that gets me most excited would be the thought of, like, you know, doing this with the family along as well. Like literally sticking the kids on the back.
Why, you could.
I think you totally could. 100%.
Because what we had on today was similar to your two kids.
Yeah.
Weight-wise.
But you could have even more on. You might not. I don't think we take them mountain biking quite like that. Would you still take a table?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, mate. I wouldn't go anywhere without a table. Wouldn't go anywhere without a table.
I mean, it does
This is a necessity.
Chairs winning at life, isn't it?
Mate, that is, do you know what I mean? Sitting there, grim. Up here, feel like royalty.
Yeah, basically. Like you're in your proper place.
You're quite impressed that I got all this for?
Well, I am.
That's not bad, is it?
Well impressed. Right, mate.
Hi, buddy. Bit windy last night, was it?
Yeah, I was slightly worried my bike was going to fall on the tent.
But it didn't, right?
No. Oh, we're going to get blown away.
Where was the jet engine that was right outside our tent last night? As you can tell, it's raining this morning. Because it's February. It's also blowing an absolute gale, which was the only slight issue last night. I don't think there's any money in the world or luxuries that could have prevented the wind from keeping us awake last night. So, mission accomplished, I think. I was warm, I was snuggly, toasty. Could have had a bigger tent, couldn't we?
Yeah, but it was cosy.
It was. Oh, we camped out in February. It was very nice, really.
Turbo mode!
It's a very wet but nice morning. Classic British winter bikepacking weather this is. Classic.
This place is pretty gnarly, right? So this is Mam Tor, or that is Mam Tor, and that used to be the main road.
No.
Like literally the main road.
What?
Yeah, and I think they stopped fixing it in like the 70s or something because it just constantly slid down the mountain, and that's what's left of it.
That is wild.
Yeah, isn't it cool?
Proper landslide.
You can ride it.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it safe? Who cares?
Yeah,
Let's ride it.
Yeah, come on, mate.
Look at that. Nice warm breakfast awaits.
Ice cream for dogs. This is nice, isn't it?
Just what I needed, actually.
Yeah.
Good cup of coffee and a full English breakfast.
Like, we should probably stress, we could have cooked breakfast. I brought the porridge, you got the mocha pot, we had the coffee.
Well, that's true, just the weather wasn't great. I mean, we had table chairs, etc., but we could have done with a slightly bigger tent.
Hank, we have made it. Sheffield lies just 3 miles that way. I've still got, well, I had 25% battery, but I've lost 2% doing donuts around the car park.
I mean, that was a lot of fun though.
Yeah.
Not many bikes you can do that on.
Not really, but seriously, that's cool. Mission objective number 1, no car.
Complete.
Totally nailed that.
Yeah.
Number 2, discomfort. Hank, have you suffered at all over the last 36 hours?
Little bit. I would have loved to have bought a bigger tent. I think, you know, braving the elements while we were cooking. Also, you added way too much chili, so my mouth feels a little sore still.
Yeah, the
From the amount of
chipotle
chili.
paste.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, mate.
And probably a chamois, but I didn't do that because you
well,
told
all
me not to
three
wear them.
things were effectively self-inflicted.
True.
The tent, I mean, you made me carry it anyway. I had capacity for a bigger tent.
Yeah.
And yeah, my only discomfort was being a bit stiff getting dressed this morning.
Yeah, couldn't
like
stand
bent
up.
over, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But otherwise, I've been warm, I've been dry,
100%.
and I've had a massive grin on my face. One other point to mention, I said at the start that this bike was kind of like the answer to my prayers. The reason being, in a previous video where I talked about all the things that I'd learnt about e-cargo bikes in a year of owning one, I did say at the end that the one thing I wished was that my GSD looked a little bit more Mad Max. It was like turn were listening.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically, this is about as Mad
The answer
Max
to your
as
prayers.
it gets, short of you sat on the back with a shotgun.
I mean, that would have just nailed it, I think.
Yeah, I think we might have got into a bit of trouble
Yeah.
leaving Sheffield if you were sat on the back with a shotgun.
And on that note, I think we're going to wrap up this epic adventure.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comment section below what you thought, and if you would do an adventure with a smile on your face in the February winter weather in the UK.
Well, where would you take a bike like this? That is the question. Huge thanks to Turn for lending us 2 of these Orox bikes, which I think they're going to have to wrestle them to wrestle us to get them back off us, basically, aren't they? So
100%.
I would be the king of the school run on this.
You would be. Should we do a few more donuts and then go home?
And then ride to Sheffield. Yeah, go on.
Wheel spin!
This is what I've been practicing for my whole life.
Your pineapple's still there. Right, home we go. Enough faffing around, you little kid. You're like a pig in Woo!
I don't think I've ever had to try so hard for a kilometre on a road bike in my life.
We're like 3 miles an hour up there.
Yeah. I think we've got 5k to go, Mark, until we get
Back onto the main road.
to the main road.
It's absolutely brutal. I remember this is tough,
Yeah.
but you know, memories fade.
We have just ticked past 100 miles for the day, which means we have just ticked past halfway around the NC 500.
That's true, 250 miles.
Yeah.
But
Not that much time left to get back to Inverness.
that is the heart locker, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, considering this is a 3-day challenge and it's 20 to 5 on day 2 and we're halfway. Let's keep going.
You said it's all downhill with a tailwind from here, I think.
The north coast of Scotland is a beautiful, rugged wilderness that deserves to be on every cyclist's wish list of places to ride. And what better way to sample it could there be than by riding the North Coast 500, a route that starts and finishes in Inverness and then traces a sinuous line for 500 miles around the mountains and lochs of Scotland's north coast. It's an amazing adventure for intrepid cyclists. You could ride it over the course of a week, or perhaps 5 100-mile days, or if you get invited to ride it with the round-the-world record holder Mark Beaumont, 3. Yeah, 3 days. 500 miles in 3 days. For a slightly unhinged minority of you, that might actually not sound too bad. I mean, Mark's own record for the NC 500 is just 38 hours straight. But for me though, 3 days with that kind of mileage is a step into the unknown. And while one night's accommodation is a nice hotel, the other night is a hedge. If you can actually find any hedges on that exposed north coast. Right, Mark, talk me through it.
The plan is start from here, well, pretty close, Inverness Castle, and head west. This is all farmland. It all starts to get really beautiful as you hit the sea lochs on the west coast, and this is the bit that everyone talks about, the Biaknaba Applecross Pass.
So that's like the highest pass, the longest climb in the UK.
Yeah, it's you know, those like UK cycling best climbs. I think it's been #1 forever. One of my favourite bits on the route is then coming up around Tordon.
Yeah.
Massive cliffs, you'll see it, it's beautiful. And then following the west coast around. So where we're trying to get to tomorrow night is here, Pool U.
Yeah.
A mellow 150 miles
150 miles
to warm up.
Great.
And then crack on up the west coast. What I've done with the route, rather than following the traditional, the classic North Coast 500 route, I've deviated a little bit.
Okay.
Because there's some roads which the motorhomes and the cars typically don't go on because they're so small. But I think they're going to be perfect for cycling.
It does sound good.
And then we should, by the end of day 2, make it sort of halfway along the north coast of Scotland.
And that's where we're looking for a hedge.
Yeah. And it's, well, I mean, you joke, but it's so barren up there that there won't be many trees. If we find a hedge, we'll be doing well. I mean,
Okay.
it's properly windswept, empty. It depends how far along we make it, but from that point, you can just about start to see views over to Orkney,
Oh, wow.
and so you kind of know you're on the edge of Scotland.
Yeah, and then a casual 200 miles to finish.
Yeah, so I mean, this was your idea. I'm going to put this one back on you.
Don't tell him that.
So we're going inland to begin with, and then these beautiful little roads, and then finishing off with a loop through what they call the Black Isle,
Oh, wow.
back into Inverness.
That looks particularly cruel because we're within spitting distance of Inverness Castle and then you've sent us off on another 20 miles.
Yeah, but you know, it's a 500-mile route, North Coast 500, and
You'd feel pretty cheated if you did the NC 480, wouldn't you? So yeah.
that was my biggest worry with all my biggest worry with the around the world, because you can't go back and do a few miles. Imagine you finish like 2 miles short. You got to do the distance.
That's a good point, actually. Well, we'll make sure we do the 500 miles. I cannot wait.
Yeah, it'll be awesome.
Genuinely cannot wait.
If you want to see the full Mark Beaumont route, there is a link to the GCN Komoot profile in the description. From there, you can download the GPX file.
Here we go then, nearly ready to roll out. The route is locked and loaded into my Wahoo up there. The screen is currently telling me that I've got 804.8 kilometers to go. So I don't know, be looking at that particular screen very much, certainly for the next couple of days. Now you notice that I'm not wearing my usual GCN cycling kit. I'm wearing Altura clothing instead. They've been a long-time supporter of Mark's, and they've extended that support for this trip as well. It's fair to say they've had to send quite a bit of stuff up to us, given that although the forecast is, touch wood, quite good for the next 3 days, this far north, at this time of year, anything could happen. In fact, there were snowstorms just last week, so it's fair to say I'm not packing light. Then lastly, before we roll out, you'll see that I'm riding a 3T Exploro as well. Now, we're currently in the middle of making a video about whether one bike can do it all, and so it seems fair to use that same bike for bike packing as well as racing it on road and off. Right then, let's do it.
Well, it's early doors, and this is Inverness Castle, so the start of the North Coast 500 cycle route. And if all goes well, we'll be back here in 3 days.
Yeah, let's keep our fingers crossed for that, Mark. I think this might be my toughest challenge yet. Should we do it?
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Whoop, whoop. 4.5 hours in.
About halfway, aren't we? Just under.
Half an hour, halfway through the day.
I think so. I've got 113 Ks on the clock.
Yeah. So we'll just, I don't know, take a quick break and then over the hill.
Yeah.
Probably not too much food with that climate.
No, I was going to say, let's do Mark Beaumont's schedule as opposed to Simon Richardson's schedule. Because mine seems to end up in trouble, in darkness.
Well, we said we needed a Mark Beaumont style lunch stop, and we did indeed get a Simon Richardson style lunch stop, so we're massively behind schedule. It's 2 o'clock now, and we've got about 5 hours riding still to go, and we're at the base of this beast.
Yeah, its reputation goes before it. It's the Biaknaba, the Applecross Pass, and it's up, up, up from here. This is sea level, and the sun is shining. It's going to be a hot climb.
Yeah, I have got my legs out and my overshoes off, so it can't be all bad, eh?
We're about halfway up Bikepacking Bar now, and it's got to be said, this is absolutely breathtaking. I mean, it's a long old climb, isn't it? We've done a good few K, there's still a good few K to go, but I didn't think there were climbs like this in the British Isles. Amazing.
It's pretty steady for this valley section, and at the top it just steepens up around those switchbacks, and you could be anywhere in the Alps.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just the landscape. It's bonkers, isn't it? And what a day for it. I wish I put a short sleeve jersey on there.
I'm not sure we're going to get the KOM today, mate.
No, I blame the filming.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with
I know.
our tempo and camping gear. We might have just done the longest climb in the British Isles, Mark, but this flat bit around the peninsula, which is actually not flat at all.
Nobody talks about it.
No, it's really taken out of my legs. All these little ramps that I'm getting excited and like trying to dance my way up like a bikepacking Marco Pantani. And actually, I think I'm going to come well unstuck in a minute.
I know, we're going to feel it tomorrow for sure. This was part of my training ride in the build up to the World, and the coastline of the UK or Britain was tougher than almost anywhere I can think of in the world. Just because of this, just constant.
Yeah. I got a lot to learn about ultra endurance riding, Mark, and I think one of them revolves around lunch. So 200 Ks under the belt, 40 Ks to go. You can probably tell by this beautiful golden light that it's well into the evening, isn't it? And I don't know about you, I'm feeling pretty tired now. That's been amazing, but tough. So can you perk me up, Mike? What have we got to look forward to now? Downhill, tailwind, all the way to Port U?
We've definitely done the tough stuff. It's not flat, but we're back. We're off the single track now.
Okay.
And we're kind of going due north now-ish. It's a beautiful stretch. It's all beautiful. I mean, that last bit by Torridon, I know you were looking forward to it, and it didn't disappoint.
No, it didn't. My word, it didn't disappoint. But I guess, yeah, off the single track onto really busy roads. Yeah. That'd be fine. We've only got 2 days of this to go, and the last day is only an extra 50 miles.
Let's just get in before we need to use lights.
See you in a bit. Long golden hour, huh? Ah, yeah, look at that.
First day.
Wednesday night is Stovey's night. What's that, mate?
Stovies?
Yeah, what's that?
You'll enjoy Stovies.
Yeah?
Proper Scottish meal.
Oh, there we go. 150 miles in the bank.
Pretty much on the button.
Yeah.
The sun has just set over that way, over the islands, and yeah, what a beautiful first day.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. I'm glad it's ended, if I'm honest, but that was one of the best days riding that I've ever had.
And I'm glad that we're not camping tonight. Although it would be an epic night to camp. But I think because it was quite a gritty first day, a meal in the bed won't hurt.
There's a suggestion there that tomorrow's going to be easier. I hope so. I hope so.
It's just as beautiful, if that helps.
Is it? That does help.
Yeah.
That does help.
All right.
Right, stovies. Whatever they are, I'm going to eat them. Given that we are camping wild tonight, I thought it'd be a good opportunity to talk you through the kit that I've got, just very briefly. There's a full video over on the tech channel as well. Now, back here, this is where I've got my sleeping bag, my bivvy bag, and my mat. And then Apidura have sent this monster frame bag here, which is wicked. So I've got a camelback in there, which is upsetting some of the purists, I know, but it's pretty good. And then I've also got tools, I've got riding clothes, and I've got some food in there. Then up top, I've got phone, charger, and a little bit more food. And then this one, the handlebar bag, this is where I've got a warm jacket and my one pair of pants, among a few other items of clothing. Now, this was hiding in my handlebar bag yesterday, but feels appropriate, seeing as we're camping out tonight, to rock the dangle mug, much to Mark's disgust. Never mind. Day 2, we now have just 560 kilometers to go. As you can see, we're going to have to contend with slightly worsened weather today. There's a gentle breeze as well as blazing sunshine. So anyway, Mark, what is in store for us on the route?
Right, so crack on up the northwest of Scotland, so through places like Ullapool, Durness, so the top left corner, and make it as far along the north coast of Scotland as we can. Last night we gave it some good chat about an early start. Yeah, no, this is my bad influence. We're way later than we should do. By the way, I did have stovies last night, which was not what I was expecting. It's like a stew, like a lamb and potato and carrot stew, but it was very good. Proper Scottish fare.
Yeah. Let's see how it actually
fuels
performs for me today. Yeah, but anyway, there you go. Stovies was lovely. Right, shall we?
Let's ride.
Will I get your seal of approval, Mark?
We've been distracted. We are chasing time here, but there's seals sunning themselves on the beach down there in the rocks, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, we're not allowed to stop for long lunch breaks, but we are allowed to stop for seal breaks. So.
there's some swimming further out as well. You get quite a lot of dolphins around here as well.
Awesome. Love it. I'm not going to lie, this morning, Mark, I was a little bit nervous about the fact that would today be able to match yesterday, and actually I think it's even better.
Well, I think when everyone talks about the North Coast 500, they get stuck on talking about the Bialik, the Applecross Pass.
Yeah.
But there's just so much more. This West Coast is just, it gets quieter and quieter.
Yeah.
You know, more and more beautiful. I love it up here.
Cut! First one in half an hour.
3 days is punchy.
There's been a few spots today where I just thought, you know what, wouldn't it be nice to just sit down and just chill out by a stream or a river or on a beach, sit and watch some seals maybe. And that is the trouble when you set yourself a target of a certain amount of mileage every day that involves 9.5, 10 hours in the saddle. It does leave a little bit less time for faffing. And so if you're going to do this as a holiday, you'd want to factor in some serious faff time, I think, wouldn't you?
I think if you do it in 3 days, you've got to be willing for a bit of a sufferfest.
Yeah. Whose idea was it to do it in 3 days? Seriously. Made it to Ullapool, which is sadly only a third of the way through today, and I say sadly because it feels like those are 50 hard-earned miles.
We've worked for it.
We
I mean,
have.
I was kind of thinking it was going to be quite cruisy, but it was properly lumpy and properly windy.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got sore legs, and but not sore in a kind of fatigued way. I've got sore in like I've got a sore left Achilles and a sore right knee, which is a bit weird, but when thinking about it, we've done 15 hours of riding in the last day and a half, which is 5 times my normal weekly average. So yeah.
And it's punchy. I mean, this morning's ride would be a good training ride, full stop. And it's our warm-up for the day.
Yeah, that said, we did have an amazing tailwind for the last 20 Ks or so, which boosted morale. We're just about to hit your stealth route as well, aren't you? The deviation from the traditional NC 500.
Yeah, so this was my idea to try and take us off. I mean, it's not exactly busy, but take us off the roads that the camper, I mean, it's van life up here, isn't it? I mean, we are passing, the only other people really on the route are people who are up here having an amazing time with their families. And
well, yeah, and if it turns out it's an absolute nightmare of sweat and toil, we've got it on record that it was your idea.
Yeah, no, this is absolutely on me. So that was 20 minutes, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Mark, fist bump for your extra route. That was unreal.
It worked.
That was amazing.
I'm relieved because that was a step into the unknown. But I'm not just saying this, but that's one of my favourite rides in the UK now. We're back onto the official North Coast 500 route, and this bit north of Loch Inver, in my humble opinion, is the real kick in the... It's pretty punchy. I call it the shark's tooth. Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to lie, I've steered clear of looking at any kind of stats from the day. I'm just following the map screen, but I did have a quick peek. See, we've nearly got just 100 Ks to go for the day. So once we've done that, and once we've gone through the shark's teeth, which sound great, then hopefully it'll just be a gentle cruise.
And we've just heard that there's a dude somewhere ahead running, and you know, allegedly he's doing 50 to 70 miles a day.
Yeah, so he's basically running at half our speed and covering half our distance, which is pretty impressive, isn't it? Oh wow, look at this road! Ah! I'm in a dark place. A very dark place. These are more like dragon's teeth, Mark, not shark's teeth. I don't think I've ever had to try so hard for a kilometre on a road bike in my life.
We're like 3 miles an hour up there.
Yeah. I think we've got 5k to go, Mark, until we get
back onto the main road.
to the main road.
It's absolutely brutal. I remember this is tough,
Yeah.
but you know, memories fade.
We have just ticked past 100 miles for the day, which means we have just ticked past halfway around the NC 500.
That's true, 250 miles.
Yeah.
But
Not that much time left to get back to Inverness.
that is the heart locker, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, considering this is a 3-day challenge and it's 20 to 5 on day 2 and we're halfway. Let's keep going.
You said it's all downhill with a tailwind from here, I think.
We're at the top of Scotland. we've reached Durness, which is a pretty big milestone, obviously a turning point. We're now heading across the top of Scotland.
Yeah, this has been a tough old day. As you can see, the sun is setting behind us. We've got 12 kilometres left to go until our kind of milestone of 240k for the day, which, given that we're sleeping in a hedge, is kind of an arbitrary figure, but both of us are fairly target oriented, so I don't think we're going to stop until we get there. But anyway, we stopped at a shop back there. We've got our food for tonight, so I'm just looking at every grassy verge going and thinking how nice it's going to be to curl up and go to sleep.
And you guys enjoy your hotel.
Yeah, the crew are going to leave us to it in just a moment. Right then, we've got 245k on the clock. The last 5k was spent scoping a place to camp for the night. Mark thinks he's spotted it, so we're going to go check it out. Should we do it? Right then, that is the crew now officially leaving us. There you go. See you later, dudes. It's been a long day, a long old day, but their hotel is keeping them some fish and chips back. Even though, what time is it now, mate? It's about 9:15. Right then, better get some tent up for Mark. I'm in a bivvy bag. Thanks, Josh Ibbott. Right, Mark's on the spotlight now. How long is it going to take?
Being a big cheat.
Well, to be fair, you've carried it, and it hasn't seemed to have taken up very much room.
No, it's the same size as the bivvy bag.
Yes.
It's 700 grams.
That was a slightly sobering thing that Mark pointed out, was that my bivvy bag effectively weighs exactly the same as his tent. So, anyway. Right, it is now officially the end of day 2 of the North Coast 500. It's 10 o'clock, I'm in my bivvy bag, ready to sleep. Had plenty to eat, plenty to drink. We're going to need it, because tomorrow is going to be an epic day. The alarm is set for 6. We're going to roll out soon after, because there's no easy way to do 200 miles. And if the wind is in the same direction it was today, it's going to be considerably harder. So yeah, keep your fingers crossed. Mark, how you feeling, mate, about tomorrow?
Tip top. Nah, it's another day. Let's get a good night's sleep. I think we'll try and roll out about 6.
All right, mate, sleep tight.
Sleep tight.
Over and out. Are there any wolves in Scotland?
No.
Bears?
No.
Okay. Right then, day 3 of the North Coast 500 starts here at 6:15 in the morning. Morning, mate.
Good morning.
Let's do it. Right then, what time is it? A little bit of faffing done this morning, and I think it's about 10 to 7. Man, we did some serious faffing. All right, see you in a sec.
Let's ride.
Well, we have just emerged from second breakfast. It's now 9 in the morning, so we're pretty much on our normal schedule, but we have at least covered 28 kilometres already in an astonishing 1 hour and 22 minutes. So we're flying this morning, it's fair to say, isn't it, Mark?
It's not for a lack of trying.
No,
I mean, genuinely, we're quite, I don't know, we're quite up for it because we've got a massive ride today, but there's a few lumps and bumps. Well, I know for a fact it flattens out a little bit further east, and we just need the wind to behave itself so we can get back to Inverness before tomorrow.
Man, I'm on my knees, but at least it's the last day.
Yeah, it hurts.
ice still got me on the hills. Ooh. Hopefully it'll start to flatten out pretty soon. Feeling good, mate?
Yeah.
You still got the legs?
Well,
KOM.
I have at the minute. I was just thinking as I was pottering up there, that I'm going to pay for that later.
No, it's good. That's the post-breakfast energy kicking in.
It's remarkable what 3 cups of coffee and a couple of sausages will do.
Hi there, you alright?
Yeah, I'm alright. Hello.
What kept you? Oh, good well, really
Fair
well.
play
Yeah.
to you. My word.
Yourself, you good well?
How are you doing?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, up and down. Literally, metaphorically.
Which
Yeah.
day are you on?
So how many miles are you running each day?
Well, the biggest day was 69.
Wow.
That was the first one, and then it's been around 54, 55. You know, obviously given the given the circumstances, West of Ross and the VLAC and all that. I mean, God, yeah.
It's absolutely phenomenal. I tell you
Yeah, but
what,
I have got a bit of experience in running it. So I started running in '92, and I did ultras since '94.
Where are you sleeping every night? You got the van?
Well, actually, the crew stayed in the van. I sleep in the back of the car. So, the back of a car, yeah. So,
wow,
so they've got the white VW van. No, I did start off in there, but it didn't really work out. So.
Best of luck for
Thank you very much.
for the last little bit. We're going to make the most of being on bikes on a descent.
Yeah, good on you.
Right, cheers, all the best.
Yeah,
Thank you
okay.
very much for talking to us.
Yeah, and yeah, enjoy the rest of the road. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Thank
What,
you.
dude? Right, let's do it.
We're now heading fast towards the east coast, and it's a big contrast to that sort of rugged heather hills and craggy rocks of the west. But the road that we've just turned onto is again one of my deviations, because I've never cycled down here, but I thought, looking at the map, that it'd be a nice way to avoid the A9. And you know, if we can find a beautiful route that links back to Inverness, still on the button in terms of 500 miles, and it does a loop of the north coast, that would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, and you can tell by the amount of gravel down the middle that this is definitely a path less travelled.
Right, well, it feels like we've rejoined civilization slightly in that this is the A9. That also means, woohoo, we've reached another coast. That is the North Sea over there. We've got 4.9 Ks of the A9 now, and then Mark's stealth route has us going off to the right onto goodness knows what roads. But if they're half as good as the ones we've just been on, high fives all round. Almost makes me slightly forget the fact I've got 190 kilometres left to go. Although, probably about 160 if you minus the Black Isle. We've reached a mini milestone, in my head at least, of 120 Ks to go, so we've just stopped off to get a much needed brew. And we've bumped into Jenny Graham, who is the women's round the world record holder. So astonishingly, I have the women's round the world record holder on one side and the men's round the world record holder on the other. So Jenny, great to see you. You did 124 days self-supported.
Yeah, so just carried everything I needed with me to fix myself, fix my bike, sleep at night. Yeah.
So how does training in the north of Scotland set you up for, I don't know, Russia and all the amazing places?
Well, I thought oh, nowhere is going to throw me after training in the Highlands of Scotland.
To be fair, that's what I
Over
think,
winter,
Jenny.
I was like,
I agree.
It's like I knew it was going to be winter in Australia, but I was like, what? Like Australians don't know about winter, and oh my god, it absolutely had me. It was so cold out there and so wet, and I was like, oh yeah, it's not just in the Highlands.
Wow. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right, left turn. 120k to go. Come on.
Mark?
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Well done, matey.
Yeah, and you, man. That was some ride.
It was huge.
Yeah.
3-day North Coast 500 with a twist.
With a twist. One of genuinely the greatest rides I've ever done. So thank you very much for taking us round.
We got lucky with the weather, but it's a beautiful route.
I thought it was always like that.
Yeah, well, finished with like a 40 kilometer time trial in the dark, which was fun.
Big thanks to Mark for taking us around the North Coast 500. Give this video a big thumbs up if you have enjoyed it, and make sure you check out the video on the tech channel where I talk you through my bike and the kit that I've used for this.
This has been a lot more than we bargained for.
This path behind me is just relentless.
What I got myself into.
Mount Olympus, one of the most important mountains in the world. Not for its size, but for the myths and legends that surround it. The peak is home to the 12 Olympian Greek gods, with Zeus on his throne and his sister and also wife Hera at his side. No ancient Greek would have ever dared to tread on its slopes. The way to the top is harsh and unforgiving, but breathtakingly beautiful. At 2,917 meters, the summit is the highest point in Greece, and the perfect destination for a bikepacking trip. A journey to the gods.
Our journey begins then, Hank. We're on a proper adventure this one. I'm so excited.
It is going to be amazing. I can feel it now. I mean, look at it. Looming over there, Mount Olympus.
I mean, when you look at it from here, you can see why it's got that reputation of being the home to the gods. It's just like this mountain that just dominates everywhere you look. I'm excited. Do you think we're actually going to make it to the top? Because it's the solid just up there, the road's going to deteriorate, we're going to end up on a track, and then we're not quite sure what we're going to be dealing with by the end. It's a proper challenge, a real one. I'm nervous, but I'm so excited.
And we are set up for a challenge, aren't we? Stork have got us their gravel bikes, and Jack Warskin is sorting us out with bikepacking kits. So, I guess all we've got to do is head out the city and head to that beautiful mountain over there.
Along the coast first, and then we climb.
You ready?
Let's do it. Good to be back with you, mate.
Yeah.
Our journey starts in Thessaloniki. From here, we've allowed ourselves 3 days to make it to the top of Mount Olympus, a 200-kilometer route with over 4,000 meters of climbing on mixed terrain that will push our bikes and bodies to the limit. We'll camp each night before making an attempt at riding to the summit on the final day, a challenge that neither of us know is even possible. First though, we need to find a way out of this vibrant yet extremely busy city.
Here we go.
the highest point in Greece. Pretty hectic city to leave, actually. I've been trying to keep my wits about me. Absolutely jam-packed with people. It's going to be quite a contrast to the end of this ride when we're going to be in the absolute middle of nowhere, right up in the mountains. First and foremost though, find our way out of this city and continue our ride down the coast.
So we are just kind of hit out the busy streets of Thessaloniki.
Oh, a bit of a relief. It was pretty crazy back there, wasn't it?
It was pretty crazy, but
hectic.
We're headed out following the coast, and we've still got Mount Olympus kind of ahead of us.
That's what it's all about though. It's about coming to a place we've never been before and just trying to make our way there. It doesn't matter if the roads are busy or the route's not exactly the greatest to start off with. That's the adventure. The mountain's looming and things are going to get a lot wilder from here on out.
Yeah, just what it's all about. Adventure time.
Now on the delta, just punctuated by lots of little rivers heading out into the Mediterranean here, getting really agricultural. And these lovely little bridges across the water. So cool. Made it across. Thanks for doing a bit of waiting for me. I think he's eager to climb to the top. Loves his mountaineering. Which is slightly worrying because I'm putting my life in the hands of Hank. Something I'm not sure I feel comfortable saying. He's the expert mountaineer though, so I shall follow his lead and hope for the best.
Hank! I think we made it to the coast!
Here we are.
Here we are, Hank. Let's have a little rest for ourselves.
Look at that.
Beautiful. So Hank's seen the sea, the turquoise blue water behind me, and he's got his top off and gone for a swim. And while he does that, I'm going to join him in a second, don't worry. While he does that, I thought I'd run you through the equipment we're using on this adventure to hopefully bring us to the top of Mount Olympus. We're using Stork's latest gravel bike, the Grix 2, loads of mounting points, which I've made the most of by attaching a pannier rack to the back here and attaching some bikepacking bags from Jack Wolfskin, which come in a variety of different types, and they're waterproof and also made from recycled materials. These should be perfect for getting us to the summit of Greece's highest mountain. Before that though, I think it's time for a swim.
Nice swim, mate. Now it's back to business.
I admired your butterfly.
Well, thanks,
You're like a dolphin out there. I swam behind you in case the jellyfish got me. You broke the water, mate.
Right, it's now back to seriousness. Off to Mount Olympus we come.
Up we go.
Yeah,
Time to meet
buddy!
the gods. I'm not sure what they'll think of us.
Leaving the beach behind as the sun began to set on day one, we headed directly into the mountains, leaving busy coast roads for the first climb of the trip. And in doing so, we're rewarded with one of the most astoundingly beautiful roads imaginable. Good for the eyes, the legs, perhaps not so much.
I don't know why I'm the one carrying all the big gear.
So we're about halfway up the climb, and I've got to say, it's blown both of us away. The silky smooth tarmac, there's no cars. We got this whole climb to ourselves. And like we were saying, it's kind of like a hidden gem, isn't it? Not many people know about this climb.
Unbelievable, really wasn't sure what to expect, and then we started climbing and this thing has just been incredible. Tank says, got it to ourselves, just looking out over the Mediterranean, back towards Thessaloniki. Incredible, we're getting up to kind of 1,000 meters altitude by the top of this, so it's our first big chunk of Mount Olympus.
I've got to be quiet for a while. I think I'm bonking already.
Hank's dropped me. Thing is though, I know which way to go, so he has to wait for me. Which just highlights his supreme intellect. We've made it pretty much up the first climb.
Yeah, I was going to say up the first climb, we're still a long way away from this summit of Mount Olympus.
But 1,000 metres achieved, 2,000 to go. It's going to get harder from here, but that's good going so far.
Yeah, and we are just taking a minute to take in the insane backdrop, which is over there, which is the Mediterranean, where we've just been swimming in. And now we've kind of made up this insane climb, and it's 7 p.m, and we still need to make it to our campsite.
But it's been special, it's been really special. It doesn't feel like we're in Europe, it feels like we're going to some kind of magical land, which is almost where the myth started in a way. It feels like we are actually going to see the gods.
Yeah, we are. I just feel like angels floating up the mountain.
But now we're going to find some dinner.
Yeah,
because we're pretty hungry.
We're hungry.
And the slow go is taking its toll on my legs and my belly. So I found a little taverna in town on my maps, and I think we're going to get there, set up camp for the night, think about the summit tomorrow. Well, day after. Still a long way to go, isn't there? Oh my goodness, it is some mountain.
Note, let's get going.
Let's do it. Oh!
Empty roads and surprisingly perfectly smooth tarmac made for a stunning way to finish our first day. Spirits were high. Night fell, we made camp and ordered everything on the menu of the local taverna, because what awaited us the next day would be a much harder challenge.
Day one done, third away up Mount Olympus. Hank absolutely broke me up the climb, but it was stunning, really, really special, and enjoyed it so much. So nice to get away from the busy city, kind of escape, and then ride down the coast, get up the climb, and really make it into such a quiet, remote area of Greece, and feels like really discovering an authentic part of this country. Now though, bedding down, because tomorrow, big day, we're heading right up the mountain, getting ourselves within reach of the summit.
When we awoke, we had an absolute paradise to ride through, before catching our first true sight of Mount Olympus, and the route we'd be taking up.
So we've just stopped to the last town before we head up the mountain, and it's pretty quiet, it's beautiful. We stopped for a little bit of a coffee and a snack, and a really kind gentleman's agreed to buy us drinks. He just was so kind.
Well, we actually made a bit of a slight mistake. We've come into the middle of nowhere without any cash.
Yeah, and we said this when we arrived, and they said it's not a problem, we're going to buy your drinks for you.
So there we are.
So we're a bit embarrassed, but so kind of them, and really grateful. We've got a cold coffee brew.
Should we taste it? See what it is?
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, buddy.
Thank you.
We have arrived. We have got looming in the background our first glimpse of Mount Olympus, standing over 2,000 meters high.
Yeah, we've made it up to around 1,500 meters altitude. We're going to drop down, but look, you can just see the road we're about to take. We're on the western side of Olympus now. We're going to wiggle our way all the way up on the tarmac, get that gravel road, and from there we're going all the way to the top of the mountain.
This is going to be a tough climb. Are you ready, buddy?
Let's get climbing. Woo!
Up the mountain we go.
And this is one ascent that we can't get away from. This is gonna test us.
Just such a clear view of where we're heading. You can literally see the whole road.
That, my friends, is around about a 30k ascent all the way to the highest
Mountain in Greece.
And so it begins. We've descended down, back to around 600 meters at the bottom of this climb. And now it's all the way to the top, no more descending. One big climb to the summit of Mount Olympus and hopefully meet those Greek gods.
Talking of gods, Connor, we're off to the home of the gods, but is there any other stats you got? Come on, you're my statistician, my historian.
Yeah, so I thought this would be a good time to explain why we chose to ride to the top here. It's an interesting one. It's kind of a rare opportunity to cycle to a mythical place in the world. So in ancient Greece, they believed that the top of Mount Olympus, the highest point in Greece, was the home to the 12 Olympian gods. Zeus won the right for him and his siblings to live up there, according to the history books, after winning a 10-year war. After which, they made their house right up there on the summit, which is where we're heading. There's another god called Hades. He doesn't live up there, he lives in the underworld, so hopefully we don't meet him. Interestingly though, Hank, no one actually knows where the name Olympus comes from. So it's thought that in pre-Greek origin, it meant mountain, which is quite apt really, I guess.
I think it's perfect.
Potentially the first name for the word mountain. Which as a cyclist, it feels like a bit of a pilgrimage. But who's your favourite god? Mine's got to be Zeus. Zeus.
Ah! You know, he's most powerful.
God of thunder, lightning, law, justice.
Yeah. 10 kilometres of the climb ticked off and we were making good progress, but the road to the top had finished. The final 20 kilometres or so to the summit would be all off-road.
So, this is it, mate. This is the turning. This is where we leave the road behind and things start to get rough. We really don't know much about this part of the ride. It's been really hard to glean any information about the kind of terrain and what the route's going to look like, but judging from the first section, which is normally better than the end, it looks pretty rough. This is going to be hard going, and if you look at the distance on the slope, really steep too, and a long way to climb. About 1,100 metres of elevation gain from here.
Yeah, we're not even halfway, and we've been climbing for quite a while now with some epic switchbacks, but as Connor says, we're heading on the gravel now and it's going to get steeper. I'm just hoping that we haven't carried enough, too much stuff, because we could end up wheeling the whole way up the whole thing.
I'm honestly quite nervous. I think potentially the more nervous I've ever been on a GCM video.
Are we going to make it before dark? That's what I'm worried about.
That's the challenge. And then after that, we've got to get to the summit in the morning. It's exciting stuff, but our bikes aren't going to ride themselves up here.
An adventure.
Proper adventure.
To the gods. Who said it was going to be easy?
Begin the gravel section of our ascent and immediately hit a setback. The vehicle carrying our cameraman cannot follow, and our only way of continuing filming until tomorrow morning is to carry all his stuff up too. Food, water, sleeping bag. We loaded our bikes to the max. Our challenge just got a whole lot harder.
This path behind me is just relentless, so hard to get a grip. It sure is a tough challenge, this. We are high up in the sky now. We're kind of on our own. The terrain's just got a whole lot harder and it just goes up. It's getting proper hard now. I don't know if we've bitten off more than we can chew here.
Time's running away with us. We've still got a long way to travel. And it's all on really tough, rocky terrain. That's the view.
So high up now, and it has been such a slog. Oh my goodness, a few moments I think our spirits dropped. But Hank's been leading the charge. I can hear him shouted up ahead, and I think he's seen where we're aiming to get to camp. A little mountain refuge up here. We're gonna set up shop for the night, bed down, and then we're getting to the top of Mount Olympus. But just to get to this point feels like such an achievement. We made it!
You're an absolute god.
I see the refuge.
We've seen it. It's in touching distance.
Mountain refuge for the night, and tomorrow, up there we go. The last little push.
But now, we need some dinner.
Now we need some dinner, and set up camp, rest some tired legs,
yeah!
Get some sleep. Woo! So we've made it to the top, which was a moment of big relief that we've got to our little refuge for the night. We're setting up camp, but we can't rest easy too much, can we? Because night is closing in.
Yeah.
We're trying to get our tent sorted and bed down for the night before the darkness really comes. And I know the cold's going to come too with the night. And we're just trying to get this set up as quickly as we can.
How do you feel the ride went?
It's tough. Like, I'm pretty knackered. I got a bit of a headache.
I mean, it was a lot tougher than I was expecting.
A lot tougher. I mean,
it was brutal. It was absolutely brutal.
If it wasn't for the surface of the road, I think it would have been a lot easier, but it was just such hard going on those rocks.
Especially with those fully loaded bikes.
Yeah, and every turn we just turned around and saw what was coming next, and I was...
There were so many false summits.
I know, that's the thing.
It was like every summit was a false summit. I didn't actually think we were going to make it to the refuge in time, and as you can see, the sun is going down, shadows rapidly rising up Mount Olympus behind us, or in front of us, and we made it, and we've got enough time to put up camp in light, which is always a plus.
Yeah.
You go with that, mate.
It was a lot harder than I was expecting. And now we made it to camp. Well, I've nearly had my jersey taken with my microphone in by a fox.
We were literally joking about animals coming and eating our food off the floor. And then a fox came into camp and ate your mic and our food. So we had to do a big clean-up job. So now I'm slightly nervous that bears and wolves are going to get me in the night. Oh, jeepers. Luckily...
Beware of the bear.
I know.
And then you've lost all your clothes, so hopefully you're not climbing Mount Olympus in your tiny leg thermals.
Well, somehow along the way I've lost my clothes, so I'm not sure what's going to happen tomorrow, but I say I will deal with that tomorrow. Tomorrow's another day.
Right, mate, time to get some sleep.
Yeah, I think it's time to bed down.
Alright, lights off, buddy.
Yeah, see you in the morning. Tomorrow we climb Olympus.
Here we go.
To the top.
Lights off, all off.
Oh.
Oh, we're overflowing. Oh,
coffee.
God, there we go, mate.
Thanks.
Right, coffee's ready.
Just about.
Okay. I think I've got it everywhere. Yeah. Sorry about your coffee, mate. I hope that's okay.
That'd be fine, I think I'll eat anything and drink anything at this stage.
How do you sleep?
I slept amazing. I think I was so tired from that ride up. As soon as I got in my tent, I was like in a little cocoon and I was just out. Brilliant.
How cosy were those sleeping bags?
So cosy. It felt like I had my duvet from home just wrapped around me.
Yeah.
It was great.
There was one moment though, we've been circling like fish in a bowl with a shark like wandering around us, because that shark was the fox. I mean, it kept poking its nose in my tent. We did lose a microphone already, and I was hoping not to lose more clothing. But managed to get some sleep, which is good.
Nice one. Nice
Yeah.
one. He was a bold fox.
Very bold
I think
fox.
he was fed well by hapless campers.
Yeah, exactly. Right, talk us through these coffees, because I've never had a cowboy coffee before.
Cowboy coffee does what it says on the tin, really. Coffee in, boil it up, drink it,
Yeah.
get climbing some mountains.
Because we've got a few moments, couple of like 15 or 20 minutes or so, then we need to get packed up.
We need to get going.
And the next shot, really, we're going to be on single track climbing up a mountain. And that's where it gets a whole lot more hairy.
It gets even hairier, which is quite scary to say.
Yeah.
Seeing as it's been pretty hairy already.
Right, mate, down your coffee, chin chin, let's get going.
Let's do it, I'm excited.
Get your little hand out, your,
Need to get out
out your
my
cocoon.
Give me a second.
How long is it going to take to get out of that cocoon?
Oh, right.
Right, cheers, my brother.
Cheers, mate.
It's a pleasure.
Oh, pleasure
to
too.
do an adventure with you.
It's been nice sharing this one with you, actually.
Mate, loved it.
So we're getting going. It's time to go for the summit. We've met our guide, who is going to stay with us as a safety precaution just to get to the top. Last section, really tricky and technical. We're geared up, we're taking bare essentials, all the food and water we need, and it's a quick mission to the summit, see the gods, get back down. I'm so excited. Look at that, we're going. We're going.
Here we go, we're going to try and take the bikes as far as we can to see how high we can get our gravel bikes. So it's not just a walk in the park, this. We are literally going to carry our bikes just to see how far we can get. Hopefully we can get to the ridge point before it turns into rock climbing. But we'll see.
You can see it snake its way up, but you can see how technical it gets as well at the top there. Oh, it's all before us.
Yeah, let's go. Right, so the sun is just behind there. That's what's called the saddle. Connor's still dragging his bike. I've made this kind of nifty contraption with my coat. This is a stunning place to be. It's absolutely glorious.
Spectacular places you could ever imagine in Greece, perhaps the world. You can see why this road, this trail up to here has got the reputation of being potentially one of the more dangerous. It's absolutely savage. It's not for light-hearted, I don't think, Hank.
No, it's definitely not. We're still climbing, but it's nice to see the first sign of the sun over the ridge there.
It's like our sunrise.
We mostly hike-a-biked our way upwards, but also managed to rise some simply mind-boggling sections of this final part of our ascent. However, soon we realised that our hopes of carrying our bikes to the summit may be one step too far in this adventure.
Holy shit! Oh my gosh. Okay, when I saw this on the map, and I thought, let's ride to the top. Not sure I was quite expecting that.
That is a serious rock climb.
That is outrageous. Oh my god.
I can see why we need a guide.
That is literally Zeus's throne, Zeus's house. It is just from another world, isn't it? It's like from something from a past time.
It's made getting a bike up to the top a hell of a lot more difficult. I mean, check out that.
Getting to the top of that, things have just ramped up.
Yeah. Wow. That is a serious climb, buddy. So we've made it to 2860 metres with our bikes, which I reckon is a pretty impressive
Yeah, it's been good going. We've done well to get to this point, and you can see the peak behind us. It is a proper climb, a real scramble. We're getting the ropes attached, and we've decided that this is probably the point where we leave our bikes.
Yeah, we've had a discussion, and we're being roped up, and we think it's just a bit too hairy. As much as we want to get our stalk bikes all the way to the summit of Mount Olympus, I think it's just one step too far.
Yeah.
So we're going alone, we're dropping our bikes off, we're heading to the summit, and we're hopefully going to meet Zeus.
Yeah, they've brought us all the way here. Now it's down to us. Go and meet the gods.
You ready, buddy?
Let's do it.
Let's finish off
is
this in
getting
style.
pretty wild. But look at that. Oh my God. So we've begun our ascent at the summit. We were all roped up, and we've put our trust in the most sensible person on the team, who is now on a leash, which is probably a good thing. Hank is leading us. It's quite scary to be attached to Hank. Don't know what else to say on that, really. Our fate is now inseparable. Yeah. What this also means is that Hank is lead, and I'm a 95 kilo anchor. So they picked the big guy to anchor everyone. You guys aren't going anywhere. For once I can't get dropped. We've made it to the top of Mount Olympus, to the home of the gods. Zeus's throne is behind us there. We're on the mythical peak, which means nose, and if you look at this peak from the side, it literally is like a nose coming up out of the ground. It's pretty incredible. The last little scramble up, I started to get a bit of a heartbeat going and wondering how good got me into, although I got us into this, but it was absolutely just stunning. What a trip. Yeah.
We've also got a book to sign, so this is a book with everyone who's climbed the mountain. So we're going to sign this, but a massive thank you to Jack Wolfskin and Stalk Bikes for making this video even possible.
Yeah, big thanks. It was just the perfect bikepacking trip, really. Starting off in the busy city, along the coast, beautiful beach, and then just making our way up this spectacular climb. Greece just blew me away. It was some ride, some journey, and it was great to share it with you, mate.
It's the dream, wasn't it? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, and let us know in the comment section below what you thought of our epic adventure. I mean, it was for us, wasn't it?
It was pretty epic. It was the wildest ride I've ever had on GCN. But thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. We've just got to get down from here now.
In one piece. Right, sign the book, buddy.
If you ever come up the mountain, look out for GCN's signature.
I am off on another bikepacking adventure with just £100 in my pocket and 2 strangers waiting for me in London. Well, what could possibly go wrong? Oh, and we're self-filming the whole lot. Yeah. So, I've arrived in London, got myself a coffee because I'm absolutely dying for one. And I should probably mention where I'm going and why I'm going on this bikepacking adventure. Now, I've been wanting to do a bikepacking adventure on a budget for a long time now. And then, just by chance, I got an email from Andrew saying, "Dear GCN Show, my friend Francisco and I are avid cyclists and keen followers of GCN. We noted you've done lots of videos on low-cost ways to enjoy the sport, but there hasn't been much coverage on how you can cheaply spend a weekend away on the minimal cost. This November, we have booked a weekend away for £91 and hoping to keep it below £100 after food. Starting from London after work Friday, we are taking the train and ferry to Calais, staying overnight, followed by a Saturday cycle to Lille via Ypres and Roubaix, returning to Calais on Sunday through the Saint-Omer. Approx about 240 kilometres, with a train and ferry back in time for work Monday. We wondered if you'd like to send a presenter to join us. There's 2 hotel rooms, and it could be a great addition." And so here I am, going on a bikepack adventure with 2 people I've never met before, don't really know where I'm going, and I'm kind of excited for it.
Here he is.
Hello.
This is my new partner.
Nice
How's it
to
going,
see you.
buddy? Nice to meet you. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad.
Good trip?
Yeah, it's not too bad. Sort of 20 minutes on the bike.
That's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Sort of, I'm ready to go.
This is your setup?
Yeah, proper footwear, as you can see, you know.
Yes.
That'll get us to Lille and back.
Oh.
This is Francisco.
This is our next compatriot. How are you, my friend? You well?
you.
Good to meet you, man.
Good to meet you too.
You well?
Andrew, how are you? Yeah, good, thanks. Thanks very
So,
much.
you're coming bikepacking with us. Are you excited?
Yes. Super excited.
How was work?
Yeah, not too bad. Not
Yeah?
too bad, yeah.
Get a lot of work done?
Today, not much.
Not
really.
much. And you don't mind me having a camera in your face, do you?
Okay.
Because you're gonna get used to it over the next couple of days.
It feels so weird, but
Yeah, I know. So, dress for work. Next stop, Dover. Just arrived at St Pancras station. And look at it. It is stunning. So this is where we're getting the train to head to the coast. So Andrew's sorting out the tickets. I've been given mine. Destination Dover. So we've been here about 2 minutes and Andrew's already gone. He's currently in the queue to get a picture with the Labour leader here in the UK called Keir Starmer. And well, we're just watching from above. Where do you go, mate?
So I went to go and see Keir Starmer. So he's selling poppies. So he's got us one to give at the Tyne Cemetery tomorrow.
There you go. We got a poppy from Labour leader Keir Starmer. Who would have thought it? Right, we got to get a train. It was really great to finally meet Andrew and Francisco. Andrew was the smiliest man and most positive man I have ever met, and Francisco seemed pretty nervous, but I was really looking forward to getting to know these two even more. So we've arrived in Dover. So passports out the ready, it's now going through customs.
So we've got the tickets, we're now ready to board. We've got to attach these to our bikes and we're good to go.
Gotta say, it's super exciting. You know, just riding up onto a boat. There's something quite amazing about it. Commanding. Yeah. Here we are, first one's on the ferry. Having got on the ferry, we said goodbye to England, and then France was awaiting our arrival. Yes, my bikes are still there. Right, so Andrew, this is where we're staying. This is known as the Hotel Premier Plus.
Yeah, I think someone needs to work on that sign.
Right, let's find our rooms, shall we? Apparently we've been doing bikepacking on a budget, so we've got one room between the three of us. The price of this room was £30. So that's £10 between each of us, which is about, what, 15 euros?
Yeah.
13 euros?
It's about 41 euros. It's 41 euros for the whole thing.
41 euros for the whole thing. So yeah, $50, 50 bucks. There you have it. And yeah, we're just gonna get a good night kit. And I'm gonna read these guys a story. Right guys, on bedding, our adventure starts.
Yeah. It's time for bed.
Sleep well, squad.
Yeah. Good night.
Sleep well. I'll see you in the morning.
So it's the morning. Andrew, how did you sleep?
Pretty well, pretty cozy.
It is pretty cozy, but we are doing this on a budget, aren't we, Andrew? So yeah, it's not bad for what, £10 a night each.
You can't expect much more. So.
No, exactly. The only one thing we did realise is that this room's for 2 people, and well, we only had 2 towels. So
bit of drip drying.
Andrew did some shake dry, which I rate. But now we're getting ready to go. All cycling kits is up and ready to go, and then we're heading about 10k away before we get coffee. And Andrew doesn't actually drink coffee, so it's not high on his priority list. But for me, it's pretty high. What's going on here, Andrew?
So it looks like the mudguard's sheared. So we're gonna tape it up, and hopefully that'll keep us in one piece until we get there.
I feel like that mudguard's had its day.
Yeah, so you can see I've done a bit of temporary repairs. So this is an old plant pot. And at the front you can see the other one
Really?
stitched up with a plant pot as well. But you've always got to ask the gardener's permission before you chop up their...
Hack / bodge of the week. So with the premier class hotel behind us, we are off on our travels. Next destination, where are we off to?
Gravelline.
The Gravelline. Is that right?
Gravelline for breakfast.
Gravelline for breakfast. I could do as a breakfast. Andrew, I thought we get a breakfast.
Fancy as it gets on a budget.
What am I doing? I don't want to do my weekly shop.
I'm sure they'll have croissants. I hope they do.
Right. Thought we were going to a little French cafe. Cappuccinos are ready. Yeah. So it turns out when you order a cappuccino in France, you don't get milk foam, you get whipped cream. All right for some. Are you jealous?
I'm a little bit jealous now. Change your mind.
Yeah, we're ready. We're all
So now
packed
we're
up.
going to Dunkirk?
Dunkirk Beach.
Okay,
Heading
so
to
let's
Dunkirk
go.
Beach. You ready, Francisco?
Yeah, I am ready. Super cold.
Let's warm
actually.
up.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go, please.
12 miles, 16k in. It's all looking good. Look at that. Here we are in Dunkirk. Beautiful beach, actually. It's crazy to think, though, that hundreds of thousands of soldiers were here back in World War II. And we're just doing a little bit of an explore. We've left Dunkirk Beach. We're all together, our little pod of whales. And now we're headed to Warham. Now Warham's where I'm hoping to see my great grandfather's burial. That's where his, I think he was buried. Andrew's brought me all the way to my great grandfather's gravestone. So this is Major Angus McCorkdale. This is his gravestone here. He died in 1940, aged 34, and he was one of the Coldstream Guards that were protecting the retreat, so everyone at Dunkirk could evacuate. And they did 300,000 soldiers evacuate. So here we are, dropping off the poppy in remembrance of Angus. It is crazy to think he died in 1940. And at just the age of 34, that's just 4 years older than me. It's mental.
So we've just left Warham, and now we're going to the Belgian border. So hopefully it's all flat. That's what the lowland countries are famous for. So fingers crossed we won't find any hills that can make good time.
So we're just coming up to Belgium.
Crossing the border, another country done.
Here we are. Another country done. To Belgium.
Right, so to mark the transition as we go into Belgium, it's time to swap from French hat into Belgian. So you definitely know that we're tourists.
With a few kilometres under our belt, it was time for a quick break and some lunch. Luckily though, we found a shelter. And in this case, it was a bus shelter.
So, this is something that you don't see every day with Gordon Ramsay, but if you want to make the best cheese sandwich... So, we've got a knife, a good debit card.
No.
So, make sure it's one you don't want to use for the next couple of hours, and then just slice along. The cheese has been nice and warmed in the bag, so it should be...
Where's your debit card being, though?
You don't know.
What cash point?
Very clean cash point.
Did you thought about this? Where is that debit card being?
Well, let's not think about that. Let's hope. I'm going slightly faster after that. So once we've chopped up with the debit card,
I guess if I'm in for a penny, I'm in for a pound.
Yeah.
And Andrew's amazing tour. This is bikepack on a budget. I can't. You know.
What's the verdict?
Pretty happy with that.
Let's get one for the Francisco and I then.
After a lovely sandwich made up of chunks of cheese, salami, and a side of, cash machine residue, it was time to get to our next destination, Ypres. Done about 60 miles, 90k.
95k.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, good.
A bit wet, a bit damp?
A bit wet, but yeah, it's raining a bit, but not too bad.
So we've made it to our next point of interest. Where are we, Andrew?
So this is the Men Engaged. It's a memorial that's dedicated to those that fell and missing, and they never found them from the battlefield. So here in Ypres marked a major salient in the line for World War I, and most soldiers passed through this gate on the way to the front itself.
And there's a famous poem, isn't there?
Exactly. So John McCrae was a war medic, and he saw or witnessed the funeral of a very close friend of his in the Second Battle of Ypres, and he wrote a poem, and it's about what went on here. And I think, Hank, you were going to tell us now.
And the poem goes a bit like this. In Flanders fields the poppies blow, between the crosses row on row that mark our place, and in the sky the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead, short days ago. We lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from falling hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields. After paying our respects, it was time to get back on the bike. Well, after Andrew tries to fix his plant pot bodge. Our next destination is the Tyne Cemetery. Now this is the largest cemetery for the Commonwealth forces in the world and a burial ground for those that died in the First World War. There are 34,000 soldiers buried here. It is incredible. It's quite something seeing of this many gravestones. Lights are going on. It's dark here at Tyne. The sun is down, and now we are off because we got the longest leg of our journey still to go. Quick fuel up and off we go.
Time is 8:30. I'm looking forward to getting some grub, if I'm honest. It's been a good day, but it's been a long day.
So we've arrived at our location. The Ibis Budget Hotels. Cheap and cheerful. How much was this room?
This one was about 40 euros again, so £30.
£30, 40 euros. I mean, that is cheap. Right, it's about time we get in there, we get showered, changed, and then we're gonna get some food. It's been a long day. You enjoyed it?
Yeah, it's been a great
You
time.
enjoyed it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we are in our room for tonight, but it's not going to be much of a tour. It's not going to take long, is it, Andrew?
No, so we've not that much, but you can tell it's a budget room because you've got to make your own bed.
Yeah, this is no 5-star. This is on a budget.
So here is to the first day. It's been an epic day. I mean, I've massively enjoyed both of your company. I think we've made a good team. Right,
Cheers
first
to
day
that.
done. Cheers to that.
So the time is 8 o'clock. We stayed in the hotel behind us and we slept really well. Good dinner out in the middle of Lille. Now we're heading to Roubaix. 100k to go before we make it to Calais. So we've got a bit of a race against time because we've got to make the ferry back home, ready for work on Monday. Anyway, we've got to get rid along. We're an hour late because we slept in, and now we're heading to Roubaix, which I've never been before. So pretty excited to get to that velodrome.
You forgot your phone!
Oh no! I knew I'd forget something. It's in the morning, we're just leaving. Andrew managed to grab my phone, which is ideal. And now the guys are running light because we're come back to Lille. We just wanted to see the Roubaix velodrome. So let's get on the bikes and let's get going. Let's go.
Is there anything more French than a tree-lined avenue?
Nothing, I think.
So guys, do you want to race?
It's time for a race.
I think it's time. Before we get kicked out, we should well, see who is the fastest. I'm fully weighted up, so you guys have got a head start.
Yeah, we should be fastest.
Right, we ready to race?
Bring it on.
Ready, Francisco?
Ready.
Let's do it. Right. 3, 2, 1. With a photo finish to confirm the winner and a very questionable lunge from Andrew, our fun on the track was over, and it was time to get serious and get back on our bikes.
A quick update, we're leaving. Andrew's doing a pirouette. We're leaving the Ibis for the second time. We've been to Roubaix, we loved it. I mean, it was genuinely a bit of a bucket list thing to do, is to go and ride on the Paris-Roubaix velodrome. And now the rain is starting to come down, but we are headed to a little cafe in Lille for a bit of petit déjeuner to kind of fuel us for the next
I reckon we're gonna do like 30-40k without stopping. So we're gonna fuel up, we're gonna get into that rain, and we're gonna enjoy it. Right, good to go? Seeing as we're on a budget, we only can really afford a coffee in a posh place, so I got us breakfast McMuffins. It's only 12 euros. Fresh, from France, petit déjeuner, McMuffin. This is the not so glamorous side. It's wet, it's windy, it's pretty grim. How you doing, Francisco?
Yeah, not too bad. I'm saying this is proper adventure now.
Yeah, buddy, you are soaking, man.
Yeah, I am. I think I am. But yeah, pretty good.
Very wet indeed. How are you feeling, Andrew?
Well, I wish everyone else had mud guards because you can see I'm covered in the mud.
Mate, you're soaking. You are absolutely soaking, buddy.
Drenched through.
Oh my god. And Andrew is just grabbing a snack. What on earth are you eating there?
It's our good old block of cheese. It's going to fuel us everywhere.
Oh my god. Andrew.
With the rain coming down and the temperature plummeting, we tried to keep the pace up so that we could keep nice and warm. But it was fair to say, Andrew, I think, was starting to feel the cold.
There you go. So the last 40k has been pretty tough. It's, I think I bonked at some point and got a bit tired, but nothing a Big Mac can't fix. So now we're heading down to the port, but we're doing it the scenic route. So we're going along the canal, the Calais Canal, just for a bit of scenery because, you know, you can have.
Because why not, Andrew?
Yeah, it's better than a motorway.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so wet! Yeah. I don't know if you can see this, but it's absolutely pooing it down.
Yeah, it really is.
Pardon? What were you going to say?
I can say we've gone the wrong way.
Oh.
Right.
Where have we gone wrong?
So you know when you took the right and went all the way along here?
Yeah.
Should explain. Because
we're going back.
The access to the ferry for bikes is that way.
Wow. We made it. What a journey. It's been adventurous. I've enjoyed it. It's been interesting. Never thought I'd go bikepacking with people I've never met before, but I've loved every minute of it.
Our adventure has returned back in Calais. With a few soggy passports and 3 very wet and cold riders, we arrived here having just met with one thing in common. We loved riding bikes. We now return having made great memories and cemented a good friendship. Guys, our journey is complete. We've arrived back in Calais. We are all in one piece. Yep. We're not too cold. We haven't got hypothermia. And we survived Andrew's adventure. And behind us lies Calais, in front of us Dover, and also in front of us Monday morning and back to work. Have you got any last words about the trip?
Well, it's been an amazing trip. I'm glad that you came and joined us.
I'm glad I came.
Yeah, so it's been amazing. We've had a tough day today, but it's been great to be cycling together and to make it to Calais safe and now back to home.
Andrew?
Well, I think the key takeaway for me is to show that anyone can do it, and we've done it on a budget. So
how much did it cost us to get from London to Lille and back?
So I think it was about £90 in the end. So it was £20 of trains down to and from Dover. Then we had £20 each way on the ferry, £30 in total for each hotel. So divide that by 3 ways, that's a tenner each.
Yeah.
And all that's left to do is buy some food, and you've seen us have all sorts, I think.
Yeah, and we really didn't spend a huge amount of money there. It was about £30 each for food, or maybe about 50 quid. So in total we've spent £140, so about 160 euros for this entire trip, which we've done on a weekend, and we still haven't missed any work. So there you have it. If we can do it, you can do it.
Adventure is out there, whether it's the other side of the world or just outside your front door. And adventure by bike is perhaps one of the purest ways to see the world and travel. I'm talking bikepacking, and I love it. And if you're thinking of giving it a go yourself, then here are a few tips and some advice on basic kit you'll need to get yourself started. For those that don't know me, I'm Conor Dunn and I present videos here on GCN. And if you want to keep up to date with all the videos we put out on the channel, then please do hit that subscribe button. It will mean a lot to us. Now, I've spent most of my life riding bikes, but mostly racing them at races such as the Giro d'Italia and the Vuelta a España. I wasn't particularly fast, but I did have my odd moment of triumph in amongst all the suffering. I think my main passion though has always been seeking out adventure by bike. The road is your oyster, and bikepacking is a perfect example of this. You can choose your speed, your itinerary, where you stop, what you see, what you eat. I absolutely love it. And if you're even thinking about trying bikepacking, touring, traveling by bike, whatever you want to call it, give it a go. You won't be disappointed. How you actually carry all your stuff for your trip is probably going to be the first thing you need to figure out. No, not that, not that, not that. Remember, the more bags you have, the more places you can store stuff, the more you can bring. But at the same time, the heavier you're going to be. So if you can get away with carrying less, the riding is going to be easier. Of course, if you want to get cracking straight away, you could just find any old rucksack that you've got, whack all your stuff in and hit the road. Although I must say, this isn't the most comfortable option because it's quite heavy on your back, and for longer trips, it can be a little unwieldy. So give it a go, but there are other options. Bikepacking bags such as this one is probably the next logical step if you want to upgrade your setup. These work brilliantly because they can pretty much fit to any bike that you can think of. They can also carry a whole heap of stuff. So this one here is 15-litre capacity. It's also really waterproof, so you can be rest assured the stuff inside here is going to be perfectly safe. Now, if you're thinking of upgrading to a bikepacking bag such as this one, a few things to bear in mind. Various price points, but each has their different amount of sway, so it can affect your ride. You can actually get an accessory called a wishbone, which attaches onto the saddle and stops that sway if it does bother you. Also, you want to think about accessibility, so how easy is it to get the bag on and off your bike, which, believe me, when you're tired at the end of a long day's ride, it's actually something that's quite valuable. You can take your stuff with you to wherever you're sleeping without having to faff around trying to always get it on and off. Now, it's not just a rear saddle bag you can get as a bikepacking bag. You can spread these around your bike in your triangle area, on your handlebars, and this really distributes your weight really well over the whole bike, making for what I believe is quite a natural feel to your riding. And compared to a rucksack, it takes the weight off your back, makes life easier for yourself because your bike's taking it. Stay your poor body. And this is my sort of preferred setup with all the bikepacking bags attached to my bike. Front bag, middle, back loader, back bag, saddle bag, whatever you'd like to call it. I tend to go for the heavier items in the middle, try and keep that center of gravity just right, and then go for those kind of bulkier but lighter items, like maybe a sleeping bag, spare jackets on the back or the front. If I am looking for extra carry capacity, I normally use something like this. So this is Topic's Versa Cage, really useful bit of kit, because this kind of, if you do have mounting points, can be mounted straight there to the fork, or you can get some straps which will strap it to a fork. If it doesn't have mounting points, this really allows you to get a really bulky item that you struggle to fit into these bags onto your fork. Say, I'm talking like a bulky sleeping bag, sleeping mat, such like. Another advantage to bikepacking bags is that they're quite aerodynamic, and I know that doesn't really matter as much when you're bikepacking, but I tell you, at the end of a long day when you're tired, you want to find your camp or your place to sleep and get some food in you and kind of tick along. Trust me, you'll appreciate it. Tucks itself out of the wind, here, away from the wind, doesn't really impact the profile of the bike too much aside from that handlebar bag. Aside from bike packing bags, pannier racks are a really good option to consider, especially if you're going on longer trips where you're perhaps needing to carry more items or bulkier stuff on your bike. Now, these are easier to fit if you do have mounting points on your bike for them, but if you don't, you can still find pannier racks for your bike with mounting capabilities through the through axle or a quick release, and actually that can take more weight on the rack as well. I really like these. You can get quite a lot of stuff on. They're also, I find them a bit easier to access once you've got your bags attached to them, and they give you kind of plenty of options of where you can put stuff as well. Personally, I prefer the handling of a bike with bike packing bags on, but that's totally personal preference and everyone will have a different opinion on that one. I do have the tendency to pack more stuff though, and I've got racks on, and if I'm going off-road, I tend to prefer the bike packing bags too. They're also a bit fiddlier to install, so if you're going kind of between trips and you wanted a quick option to whack on, I prefer the bike packing bags. But yeah, as I said, for longer trips where you're committing to the road, pannier bags, pannier racks, definitely worth considering. Of course, you could also think about a bike trailer. There's plenty out there that are purpose made for carrying stuff for bike packing, or you could just look online or in second-hand pages to find an old child's trailer. Plenty going cheap, especially seeing as if it's not in the best condition, still works perfectly for bike packing rather than putting live children into. The advantage to a trailer is that you can carry heaps of stuff really easily accessible. Downsides, your bike is less maneuverable, particularly if you're going a bit off-road, put your bike over fences and the like. It can also puncture. I've been there before. Rear punctures, double on a trailer, not the best look. It can be a great option, especially if you're on a budget. Bike-wise then, what bike should you take on your bike packing trip? Well, to be honest, literally any bike will work if you want to head out and get yourself started. Any of those carry options will work on any sort of bike. You can pretty much think of any scenario and you'll figure it out. But if you are buying a bike or in the process of buying one, with bike packing trips in mind, this is what I'd advise to make your life that bit easier. Disc brakes, extra stopping power, which is definitely important when you have all that added weight on your bike. Nice, easy gears, because with all that added weight, the climbs are a lot harder. Plenty of mounting points, either on the forks, on the frame, on the down tube there for attaching additional bottle cages, or extra cages which you can strap all your stuff to your bike with nice and securely. As chunky tyres as possible. I'd go down the wider tyre route, because even with best laid plans, if you plan to go on the road, you always do end up taking a bit of off-road stuff, and it is nice to have that extra grip, that extra volume in your tyres, which makes the riding that bit much more comfortable. A pretty traditional setup with parts that are easy to source when you're out on the road, and also perhaps a more relaxed geometry for long days in the saddle. The rest can be debated until your heart's content, but those basics will give you a pretty solid bikepacking specific rig that could take on pretty much any trip. Don't forget your tools and spares too though. This one can get a little bit tricky because obviously tools quite heavy, so you want to be careful about what you're bringing. If there's not that many resupply points, you're probably going to have to bring a bit more as backup, but if you are frequently passing through places where you can get a bit of help, then you can afford to go on the lighter front. But I'd say to remember to bring things like tyre boots so you can fix some big slits in your tyres, spare hangers for your bike or anything really specific to the bike you're riding. So there's all the usual puncture repair tools, basic Allen key sets that you'd normally take on any ride. Navigation is something that you're going to need to sort before your trip. So get planning and get looking at routes, because you're going to be on unfamiliar roads and you're going to want to know where you want to head in advance so you have the best time out on your bike. Paper maps, they're a great starting point. Can be a little tricky to read, do take up a bit of extra space, but they're there. They'll have those routes on them. They're ready to go. You can whack it in your pocket. There's something romantic, I think, about reading a paper map. Good old technology though has made this easier for us. With many of us using smartphones these days, we have mapping already right in the palm of our hand, and there's plenty of platforms that you can choose from if you want to use your navigation options right there on your phone. Design your route and then use it almost as a head unit to navigate from, go further afield than you ever thought imaginable. We use Strava here at GCM, so you can choose your route, draw it up, make it your own, save it offline so that when you're riding into places with no signal, you know it's there. One thing I would say about using your phone as a navigational device is it's going to cost you battery life, so that is definitely something to bear in mind. And remember, take a power pack as backup in there with all your stuff. A dedicated head unit like this one is probably your best upgrade in terms of navigation. It's a bit easier to read with a purpose-built display for bright weather. You can get all your maps downloaded here, ready to view, have them on there in advance, and you can ride away to your heart's content. Of course, you could just wing it without navigation at all. But I'd say if this is your first time, it's definitely worth prepping in advance, because you can plan your route around resupply points, accommodation, and the best riding. And I do genuinely believe your trip will be better and more enjoyable as a result. But there is nothing like a bit of adventure and just jumping on your bike and heading out the door, seeing what happens. Food for me when I'm bike packing is pretty similar to normal rides, but you want to remember that energy levels are going to need to be restocked pretty continuously. You're going to be burning through quite a lot of energy. So stock up on those carbs, and I always try and keep some ride food on board with me for those moments when the energy levels do begin to topple. These are really easy to digest, easily packable, really compact, so great to have that onboard energy ready to rumble. But at the same time, bike packing is an excuse to have some culinary delights, to explore your taste buds in a way you've never achieved before. And I like to do just that and eat quite a lot of food. But remember, normal rules of engagement apply, and if you don't eat enough, even if you are just taking it nice and easy and enjoying yourself, you'll bonk and you'll find it pretty tough going. Keep on top of those food levels, folks, and always have emergency rations. Clothing wise, I think the answer is basically whatever works for you, whatever you're used to, go for it and wear what you feel comfortable with. But at the end of the day, you want to wear something which keeps you warm. You want to make that the priority. Long days in the saddle when you're bike packing, you get in situations that aren't really planned, and you don't want to end up cold and shivering on the side of the road in the rain. Believe me, it is quite a big dampener on any bike packing trip, if you'll excuse the pun. I think one item of clothing which I'd really recommend always putting in your bag, no matter the trip, no matter the location, is a stuffable jacket like this one, preferably one which is waterproof as well. The advantage of these is that you can wear them whilst you're riding, but also off the bike when you get to accommodation, when you get to camp. You can whack it on really easily. You can also use the hood under your helmet to keep your head warm. They're just so versatile, and I often find myself taking one on literally every trip I go on. So that would be my one tip to consider, and there's plenty of options out there to suit any budget as well. If I'm staying in sheltered accommodation, I often try and go as light as possible when it comes to spare clothing, maybe bringing a spare bib shorts, spare layer that sits on my skin. The rest I try and make do with the entirety of the trip, and I wash it as I go, a bit of a soap and scrub when needed, and hang to dry. But experiment yourself with what you're able to get away with packing, what feels right for you, and also what's going to be comfortable for using for the whole of your ride. If this is your first bike packing trip, then I'd maybe recommend staying in sheltered accommodation just to get something under your belt for a smaller trip and make life a little bit easier for yourself. Look for hostels, places along the route, which are pretty cool to stay in. But at the same time, if you're thinking about camping, it is so accessible, and you needn't think you need to have a super amount of skill to be able to camp under the stars and get those wild nights in. Trust me, you're gonna love it. And there is a pretty basic setup that you can get to get started. Of course, there is probably a whole nother video or two on what are the best camp options for different scenarios. But if you're going out in the middle of summer, all you really need, sleeping bag, mat, a bivy bag. So this is a waterproof bag which goes round your sleeping bag, making that waterproof outer layer. And I like to inflate my sleeping mat, put that in the bivy bag, and then put the sleeping bag into that. So you're kind of like a little burrito under the stars. And that is pretty much it. If you think it's going to be dry, even a bit of showers is fine. But if it is potentially going to be wet, then I would say get a tarp. This is kind of just a waterproof sheet which you can tie above your setup. Keep yourself nice and dry during the night. From there, you can potentially upgrade to a 1 or 2 man bike packing specific tent, which is quite light to carry, and you can easily fit it in your bike packing setup. Gives you a bit of extra comfort, especially if you're riding in areas with lots of midges and insects. You can keep those out, and also give yourself a bit of privacy too, which is always nice to have. You can sort your kit out in your tent. But just getting started, that's what I go for. There you go then, a few tips to get you started and hopefully out the door bike packing on your first trip potentially. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up and let us know in the comments if you'd like any more advice or if we've maybe missed anything. Remember, it is a bit daunting before you head out the door. Don't fret it, get cracking, get started. You definitely won't regret it. Have a good one, folks. Enjoy.